chapters. We're gonna talk about the spiritual realm and a little different things of like mermaids, and we're gonna talk about trolls and like a whole bunch of different stuff. And what we're talking about, we're gonna talk about wolves, and we think about it, we're like, is that real? Spiritual realm is real, because remember, you have a spiritual dad, and the angels are in the spiritual world, and demons are in the spiritual world. So, right, we're gonna get into it. Like, what I'm gonna talk about is that. So the first, we're gonna go to the verse, the Bible, and we're gonna go to Revelation 12:12, and then we're gonna go to Job 26:5. And then I'm gonna read, and it says, therefore, in Revelation 12:12, it says, therefore, rejoice, O heavens, and you who dwell in them, but woe to you, O earth and sea. For the devil has come down to you in great wrath, because he knows his time is short. And if you realize, it's like sea. So let's jump into Job 26:5. And it says, the dead tremble under the waters and their inhabitants. So you're telling me there's something under the water besides fish? What is God talking about when he's like, every knee should bow, every creature on earth and under the sea? You talking about fishes? No. Talking about creatures. Talking about creatures. And we're going to jump into everything biblically. By when I'm going through, I'm going to be like going to a Bible verse to back it up. So right now, right when in the spiritual realm, right, Father, he showed me this creature in the sea. But first he's like, hey Isa, look at the water. What do you see? And deep, very deep in the water, I see a creature. And I'm going to show you, because everything that he shows me, I always draw it, and it has to be biblical. So what creatures did he show me? He showed me Leviathan. And Leviathan, you can find Leviathan in Job 41:1-34. I'm going to give just a few verses. It says, can you draw out Leviathan with a fish hook? Or press down his tongue with a cord? Can you put a rope on his nose or pierce his jaw with a hook? You think he could kill Leviathan with a fishing spear? Nope. His scales are so like shields that even the word says there's no air in between them. His scales are so hard, like rock solid, that no air is in between them. And he's the king of what? Pride. So everyone who's prideful is from him, right? From there. He is the king. He's what? He's the king of the water. So right now, so he showed me Leviathan. So I'm going to show you everything that he shows me, it has to be backed up. And this is what I saw right here in the spirit. I saw that. And I had like everything that God shows me. I'm like, okay, let me back it up. I gotta draw it, and I gotta look for a Bible verse, because everything that he says is gotta be biblical. So when he said, look in the water, and I look and I see this creature deep. I'm like, wow, I can't even believe it. Like, my eyes are shocked. I'm like, what? That's real? Like, death no lie? Like, what? And I was like, whoa. When you're a kid, there's a whole bunch of fantasy stuff that they call it fantasy, sci-fi fantasy. You think it's a fantasy, and I'm like, and I thought about the Nestle monster under the sea, and I'm like, the sea creature, and I'm like, wow, this is real. Like, this is no lie. And Leviathan is so huge that no human is able to kill him. Let me tell you that. Nope. And if you see him, like the way you see him, like as in dragon shape, because you see him like a sea creature, but also you see his scales. So he's like so that means in like Bible, there's sea creatures and they're like dragons too. Why? What, so it shows you right there that sea creatures, there's things other than the sea, but how come we don't know about it? Because God and his angels have covered, like God is like, I'm not gonna let humans know about this because it's just too much. The panic will start. If you know that things are under the sea, because the sea is like prison, is a prison. And if you think about it, I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you something about the Bible that I don't know if a lot of people have catch it, but you gotta catch it now. And it talks about that means since he's from the sea, he's from the marine kingdom, right? Where in the Bible talks a whole bunch. The Bible talks about a lot about the marine kingdom. Just sometimes like hidden verses, right? And one, you think about the one who was possessed with legion, right? Why did Legion say, can we go inside the pigs? Where did they go? They jumped off the cliff into the ocean, right? Back in the ocean. And they died, but their spirit went back to where they came from. That means that's the marine kingdom right there. So it tells you right there, there's creatures. Beyond this one, there's more. There's a life under the sea that no one knows. And you can read it about Leviathan on Job 41 through 34. And a whole bunch of scriptures talks about sea creatures. And you could, even the one I read right now that said, and their inhabitants. So that means there's things under the water. And why God have to like keep it closed, like for people to know? There's only like 5-10% that people have discovered about the waters, but they can't go deep because everything is deep. So the Bible is like, it's alive. It's alive. And when you read it, it's like going deep in the ocean. And when you go deep under the ocean, you discover treasures. So the Bible is just like that. You discover treasures. And sometimes you could read something and it won't even there's no revelation. But you could read it again the next day. Or you could read it like 500 times and you're not going to understand it. And the next day, maybe you could read it again and a revelation pops out like differently. Like, you're like, what? Like, I haven't seen this because it's just, God is so mysterious in ways that he teaches you things. That's why he's so mysterious. He is so one of a kind. He always shows you, like, he tries to open your eyes. Like, this is what I'm going to tell you. This, I'm going to tell you. How my eye. Since I always had my spiritual eyes open since I was a kid, right? Always been seeing things. And I can't be telling people, like, hey, I'm seeing this. Because people got to think, oh, she's a freak. Don't even talk to her. Don't even do nothing. Because, I'm different. I can't tell people, like, I have a gift that I can see things and I'm seeing the spiritual realm. I can't, since I was a kid, I could see demons and I could see things and I'm like, what's going on? Right? But, I'm going to tell you later how everything, got into place, like how, since I was a kid. But since I was the only one, I didn't tell no one that. And then when things got weirder, it's like when I moved to PR in Puerto Rico, because I was in Boston. But, so God opened my eyes. And the way he opened my eyes, let me tell you, if you want to see the spiritual realm, you make sure you tell, hey, please, give me time, like, give me preparation. Because if he, like, opens your eye out of nowhere, trust me, it is scary, okay? And the way he did, it's like one day I'm, like, in prayer. I'm in my secret place because, that's your secret place. It's very important to pray, like, every single day before you go to bed. In the morning, it's so important. Like, your prayer life is so important. And even it depends on your spiritual realm because everything goes first in the spiritual realm and then it comes here in the physical. And sometimes when it comes here, that's already old news because in the, it's like different time and stuff. So when I was in time on the spiritual place, in the secret place with God, and I'm just talking, next thing you know, he opened my eyes like out of nowhere. Okay, I'm in my room. Next thing you know, like, my roof, it pops, and I can see this demon creature. I'm like, what? Like, my eyes are like surprised, like, what? Like, it is like this. Like, you feel like you're in a 3D. Like, when you watch the 3D glasses and you see them, like, really close up. That's how it was. When God's like, let me tell you. Tell him to prepare you first, okay? It was like, pop! Yeah, okay, and you see this creature, and you can see it, but he can't see you because God is so powerful that he could do that. You could go into enemy's land and you won't get discovered because God is powerful. God is almighty. He's Alpha and Omega. So when I'm gonna show you what he showed me, right, in the secret place. That's when he opened like my spiritual eyes to see like, hey, he said, this is real. This is not a fantasy. You know, the demons are not a fantasy. Demons are real. Like angels are real. And we're gonna talk about like angels and demons and stuff like that. And so what he showed me is, I'm gonna tell you this. It's like a gargoyle, and what it is, I'm gonna show you, and then I'm gonna tell you like what. I'm not the best drawing, right? But the way I saw it, I see this gargoyle like purple or black, right? And what it is a monitoring spirit. It's what you call monitoring spirits, that because they watch you, and the way it works is, you know, they're like on top of the roof, or like in the spiritual realm, on top of the roof or in the tree. And let's say that I'm a Christian, right? And the person like you are walking by and you're not a Christian. And I'm like walking by, and that monitoring spirit is watching me, and then he's with his buddies, because there's always not one alone, there's always somebody else. And he's gonna be like, hey, you see her? Look at that fire. No, we gotta stop her. We gotta stop her. Look at that. You know, she's gotta lie. And then something's gonna happen, like when I go close trying to save a soul, you know, since the demon is already alerted and given information, like, gotta go to different demons. Since that person's not saved, she has demons, or he has demons, and the demon's communicating with her. Hey, and then when you go up, we're gonna have a conflict. Because I gotta try to share a word with you, and you're not gonna believe it. Oh no, I need Bibles. Like, what? That's a lie, you know. Sometimes people are spiritually blind, and religion is a major one. Because sometimes when you're like, oh, you're a Christian, you have to like stop wearing makeup and earrings and all this stuff. Let me tell you, God is not going to judge you for wearing lipstick or something. You know, because there's people who don't wear makeup, who don't have earrings on, who has shirts all the way up to here, like their turtleneck, and then they're wearing the skirts all the way down to their knees, and they know their Bible's like the back of their hand, but they're sinning, they're fornicating, and they are adulterers, and then, you know, they're doing stuff that they shouldn't, you know. And it's like, what's the point of it? You know, you're supposed to be a Christian, but then you're like sinning around, and, you know, you're being a hypocrite. You know, so I realized that, you know, since I'm a Christian, obviously, my pastor said, it's not the way you dress, and obviously you're not going to dress like a hooker or like wear a short thing when you're going to church, you know. But no one's going to judge you for wearing pants, or, you know, or you wear makeup. As long as you are not feel vanity on yourself, God's got to be fine. He's going to be, you look pretty, you look beautiful. I want you to dress good. Obviously, you got to dress in respectable clothes and stuff like that. You know, he's not going to like a skimpy or sexy and a thing. No, we're not going for that. And so, you know, he's not going to say no, because sometimes I'm natural, and sometimes I'm like, okay, since I'm here, I'm like, let's go do something simple, you know. But religion has like a major role, like in so much things nowadays. And that's why people are like so confused with like, oh, if you had makeup, oh, she has a Jezebel spirit. Let me tell you that. Some people don't even know what it is, okay? And, okay, the way I came into Christ is, I was into, I'm going to say it straight out, okay, because I'm not going to hide. I was into fornication. I was a fornicator. And I used to masturbate. And I come from pornography. And from witchcraft. And all this stuff, right? And I had incubus and spiritual husband and all that stuff, right? So I got free from that. Okay, so that's how I know that, you know, when God freed me, because it was Jesus Christ who freed me, you know, I knew, because every single day I was being tormented. When you're sin, when you're not accepting Christ, and you're like living a sinful life, right? There's demons inside you, because this is your temple. This is a house with doors, with windows, has light. It's like a house, like exactly. It has everything. And when you have open doors, there's some sins that you do, and it like opens your door a little bit, and they come in. But when you like sleep around with somebody, that opens the door wide open, and they come in, and then they go into your like your personality trait and stuff like that, and you don't see it yet, you know. But me, the way I knew something was up was because I could see things happening, like physically, you know, here in the physical realm. And since this happened to me, like, I obviously on my testimony I talked about it. Just to be quick short, I was raped, right, when I was like 19. And the thing is, I saw it, you know. And it's weird because I come from a family that's like spiritismo and witches and stuff like that, and you know, it's from generational thing. I saw it. And the thing is, by the time when I was in PR, there was a person who was locked up, and he escaped, and he was in between two cities, and it was in between Las Piedras and San Lorenzo, right? That's in there's a city in Puerto Rico, right? And that person in my dream, he escaped, and he raped me on a sofa, and he was white. And then I was like, oh, that's weird. But you know what? In real life, I was raped on a sofa. The person was white. You know, I saw it. And then it happened. And then after that, since I was like 19, and like I felt like my innocent, you know, just died. Like, you know, he killed it. And something like a switch shut off. I shut off, like from switch on to like inhumanity off. And all my feelings died since that day. That's when everything started. And since it's like, because, you know, the way some spirit works is like once you do like a sinful act, or some people actually don't even do that, they're like being raped, or like when they're being molested, demons come in too, you know. And sometimes Jezebel comes in too, and it's like a major part, you know, in some certain things. Sorry, my cat's going down. Go down. Sirena, salte para allá. Muévete. Good girl, go down. Sorry. My cat. Gotta love him. So, Jezebel, right? Let's say you got raped, right? Jezebel can come in certain ways. And once one demon's in, that demon can open doors to other things. And that's what happened to me. And the only thing, it wasn't that the only thing. Since something shut off and I stopped believing in love, and I didn't even think about Christ. I didn't think about nothing. Because I come from a Catholic family too. I just, like, I died. Seriously, I died. And I started to like masturbate. I'm like, okay. But like growing up later on, I had what do you call a friend with privileges, right? And that was a person that I know for many years. Like, that was that person. But sometimes I didn't want to. And I'm not a person to be like, I'm gonna be here like a bunny that goes hop hop. No. That's not the way I am, okay? I was with one person, that's it. And then I decided to stop, and I continued to masturbate, watching pornography. That's when I'm free. And then I'll keep watching and pornography, and I just got so into it, and I always had to masturbate. It got to a point that I just couldn't stop, and it was like a normal thing. It was like, and people don't even talk about it, and they don't even say the term, but I'm gonna tell you, because Christ freed me, and I'm not gonna hide it, okay? So when I used to do that, right, they got to a point that I didn't even feel no more. Like, I was like, it felt like something I was dragged to do it, like forced to do it, because I was like, okay, yeah, I could leave it for like 1 month, 3 months. You're like, oh, I quit watching porn. But if you're not free during a deliverance, you got nothing. But during that time, since I was raped in person, and then by demons too, I remember since I was doing that, open doors. I was doing witchcraft and all that stuff, because family and stuff, you know, it's like a generation thing, like I said. I don't know exactly what triggered it, but suddenly I started to dream with incubus and a spiritual husband, like, you know, stuff. And the thing is that they would be in the natural, like here. So that means Demons are in the spiritual realm and they're gonna manifest here. They need like a permission to actually travel. They can't just come in like whenever they want. They need a permission. They get it. And once they get it, they're like, okay, this body is mine. And every single night, I was being raped. I was being touched. And it got to a point when I used to masturbate or something and I was laying down, you could feel something on me, like right on my body. Like you felt something. I'm like, okay, something just got on me and I'm not seeing nothing. Okay, I'm not seeing nothing. But things are touching me. You could feel the touching. And even in my mom's house when I got there in PR, something was like possessive. Like, like acting like as if it was my husband. And I saw something like with my eyes, like saw it. And I was terrified even as a kid. And I was like, I just, I went to sleep and I shook it off. I'm like, I'm not going to demonstrate. I'm scared. Okay. But since I was a kid, I could see things, That's what I'm trying to say. I could see things and things happening and hear, And I had experience too when I was very, very little. And I'm like, I didn't, you don't understand because you come with a family with a Catholic. So once the door opened and I started to see, and the things is, when demons started to rape is, this is what I'm going to tell you about what is an incubus, right? And a succubus. When you're a guy, it's a succubus. And when you're a girl, it's an incubus. And one day I'm like dreaming and I see this guy and all of a sudden he's so beautiful and he has his six pack and like everything I am like imagine like his dark skin and he was beautiful, right? And I just didn't understand because I'm like, why is this guy looking at me so much? Like, what's going on? I don't even know him, right? And I'm like, I don't even know you. What's your deal? Like, you're looking at me so much. It's like, oh, I want you. I'm like, this guy is not, what is he smoking? I don't even know him. I'm not going to do something in my dream. Hey, if you're married and you're dreaming about your wife, let me tell you that. You're not dreaming about your wife. And we're going to talk about that too. We're going to get into it. I'm going to read it too, biblically. So that means I was raped by a demon. How is that possible? That means I could be spiritually married. So let me see where it goes. Okay. We're going to go into Genesis 6:4 says, the Nephilim were on the earth in those days and also forward, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. Then there were the mighty men of old, who they known as the renowned. So that means in Genesis 6:4, it talks about what? That the children of what? The Son of God, means the angels, had relations with the humans. And they bore what? Children. So that means there was an interaction. They were spiritually married. Something was going on. And you think like, oh, yeah, between an angel and human, it's going to come out beautiful. Nope. They come into some horrible things. Some demons in there. So when I was attacked, they would manifest like, usually they're supposed to hide. Then you're not supposed to know about their existence or something, but they would manifest, and they would choke me in my room. They would choke me. I remember I'm in my room, and they would choke me, and they would like just move me around like a raggedy head on. Okay, they would beat me, and I would feel like I'm dying. And right when I feel like I'm dying, I'm like, I'm gonna die, and I felt so weak. Like there's nothing. Like you're just weak. You have no strength. And I was like, Jesus. And then that, whatever it was, let me go. So this been happening. So that means the spiritual realm comes into the physical. And then, so once God opened my eyes, right? You have to continue your walk and stuff, So I would suggest you to like, ask God to prepare you ahead of time, Don't let that happen like that, okay? Because it was a shocker, okay? And let's talk about mermaids, because people are like, oh, mermaids are fake. No, it's real. I'm going to show you. So God was like, hey, Isa, I want you to look in the water. And it's really funny because he showed me different things, but I'm going to talk about, right? the mermaids. That's what we're talking about. Spiritual realm, the different things. I'm like an eagle in the high, like in the high of the sky. I'm like an eagle, like I'm flying, and I can see down the earth, like I can see down below, and I'm like, what's going on? So I'm high above, and I can see something down in the water. And he's like, look down the water. And when I see things, I see these people. They're people, and I see guys and girls. I'm like, huh, it's weird. I'm like, what is Dad trying to teach me? Like, what is going on? Like, what is going on? And he's like, look, like, watch. And when I see there's something weird, because they started to jump in the water. I'm like, I'm gonna follow here. Something fishy is going on here. I'm curious. So when I look, they jump in the water. I'm like, what? Jumping in the water? Isn't that weird? I'm like, and when they jump in the water, they transform to like mermaids. I'm like, oh, mermaid? What? This is supposed to be fantasy and fake. What is this for real? What? So the first mermaid, God showed me was the Marine Kingdom, as the Queen of the Coast, right? We're gonna get to that if I haven't talked about it. So when I saw that, I was like, you know what? I'm crazy. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna jump. That's what I did. I jumped and I went straight into water. I'm like, and since it's kind of weird because, people transforming, I'm gonna find out if this is real. It's probably fake. And when I got a mermaid, I got her by her tail. And okay, right here. Right, I'm gonna show you. I got her by the tail and I pulled it. I'm like, you're real? Like, you think you're acting like you're fake? Like, pretending people are like crazy, be like, oh, it's not real. You're real. I'm pulling on it. And that thing swam away, okay? And that's what I'm going to show you right now. And don't make fun of the drawing, okay? Because I'm not the best drawing, but everything that God shows me, I draw it. I draw it out. And, there's some things that, is in the spiritual, and there's some things he's showing, like in dreams. And, I always have a biblically backing up. But this was in the spiritual realm because I could see everything clear. And the spiritual realm is the same thing as earth. It's the same thing. Obviously God's side would be, you will see people, you will see the fruit, you will see green. And the other side is like usually gray and stuff. So, right? So right when I see in the water, I see this, right? I see this. Oh, sorry. I don't know if I'm covering it. Right there. And the thing is, you look at the little mermaid, and you see her with the little shell bra. No. Realness is they don't wear bras, okay? So, and I saw a lot of like tails, right? But hey, I drew this on detail, but not me. The thing is, I was in the top. Since I was in the top, right? I threw myself in the water, and that's me like in the water, like as going in. So I grabbed that one by the tail, and that thing swam away, okay? That thing swam away, it escaped, but I got to touch it. And I'm like, this is real. Like, this is not a lie, And if you, like, ever feel like, oh, I don't know if it's from God or not, talk to him. You got to talk to the Holy Spirit inside, like, the secret place. And he would reveal to you and show you, And so there's some things that God reveals to me, like, as revelation, as you see it as protection. It's, like, really weird because sometimes, like, he's showing you something, huh? Like, what's going on here? And I can see this as in, like, you're right there in front of me, this picture thing, and I can see something. I'm like, oh, okay, he's giving me something. If I'm seeing something, he's trying to tell me something, but I have to figure it out. And I search it through Bible, and if I can't find, like, fully in the Bible thing, I have to go back Hebrew. We're going to go Hebrew, because Hebrew, there's a lot of things that, is different. And so, but usually, right, the first time that he showed me like the Marine Kingdom was, let me see here, was the Queen of the Coast, right? The Queen of the Coast. And how did I know? You know what? I didn't know. I didn't know. Jesus, like, hey, I want you to see, like, watch. And I'm like, where is he? Like, where is he taking me? Where am I going? And next thing you know, I see myself on a beach. Okay? And I'm about to, I see myself on a beach, and I'm like, it's kind of weird because there's no people. I'm like, why is there no people at a beach? Isn't that weird? I'm like, this is strange. I'm like, this is strange. And I'm at a beach and there's no people, but I see this person in the water, and she's like white, and she's like braided hair, right? She has braided hair and she has a crown, and I'm like, okay, she's a queen, since she has a crown and a gorgeous crown. But the way she talks, I'm like, I listen because I see this person and the person can't see me, but I'm seeing this. And I'm like, so it's in a place that is deserted. You won't see humans, like people, like, you know, in the water. No, no, no. This is like a place that no one knows. And if you will see someone there, it's because he or she is in the Satanic Kingdom. And they're like, because this is a secret hideout place. You're not supposed to know. And when I see him, when I'm in the conversation, I can hear a conversation, and I'm like, man, this person is really bossy. Like, what? I'm like, this person is really bossy and controllable. And let's go say, like, this right here, right, is a shirt. And next thing you know, she's saying, oh, you know what? I don't like that. No, I don't like that. Change this. Oh, she's very manipulative too and dominant. So it's like, nope, get it out. I don't want it. And, you know, people do what she say because, you know, that's what she say. And what I did is, I'm like, I'm going to have to follow her. This is really curious. Since I didn't know, like, who she was yet. I followed her. I'm like, when I follow her, like, where this person going? And she's like a mermaid because, you know, she has transformation. She's transformed. But every time I see a mermaid or something, I see it like without a top. It just depends, okay? This time I saw that, right? And I saw this person, so I'm like, I'm gonna follow her. And I'm like, okay, so let's say she take a left and then a right. I'm like, okay, but I don't even know how, because God is powerful, like He's almighty and stuff. And He went down below. And I'm like, I could breathe underwater. Don't even ask me how. I'm telling you, that's Jesus. Next thing you know, I'm like, okay, she's taking a turn. I'm like, what am I seeing? I see a city under the water. I'm like, oh, I see a city under the water? I'm like, okay, I'm going to continue seeing. I have never seen this. What? And we're going to back it up. In a few minutes, I'm going to tell you, like, where you're going to find this person I'm talking about. When I discover there's a city, I look at it, and you think about Little Mermaid, when there's a city underneath the water. And when I go forward more, I find a castle. I find a castle alone at an area, right? And I'm like, huh, that's kind of strange. It reminds me. I think about the Little Mermaid, you know, the castle kind of thing. But when I'm gonna show you right now, this right here, right, is what I saw. Like I saw a crown here, right, and then you see right here, and then you saw like the braided hair. And what I saw was the Queen of the Coast, because where doesn't the Bible talks about someone in the waters, you know? I'm not the best drawing, you know, but I tell you, you know, this is what I saw. I'm going to draw it. And I'm like, wait, where does it back it up? Well, I'm going to show you where it backs it up. In Revelation 17:1, it talks about the great prostitute and the beast. Then one of the 7 angels who had 7 bowls came and said to me, come, I will show you the judgment of the great prostitute who is seated on where? On the waters. So that means the Queen of the Coast. She's in the waters. She's the queen, right? Who is she? Like, you think about, like, who is she? So this I'm seeing in the spiritual realm. I'm seeing this, and it's like I'm seeing you, like if you were right here. That's one. Right, and right when I go into a castle, I see a city. I looked for like maybe a city online and like drew it to like get an idea like what I saw, right? So, you know, this is an example, right? I saw like, you know, a city. I didn't color it. You know, there's some things I do and some things I don't. Right? And right when I go past it, you know, I see a castle. And the castle, I'm going to show you the inside in a few minutes. I see this castle like right here, right? And this would be the Satanic Kingdom where people do like headquarters, right? And this in here, they take classes and stuff. And, you know, it exists, you know, like how else are they gotta like, you know, it's a kingdom for like to teaching Christians like non-Christian, putting curses, you know, that's why. They dress different. They dress different, and it's like once I go in, I see creatures, and I see humans too. And I'm like, huh? You know, but I'm seeing this, but they can't see me. And then I see the city of gold, right? And I'm like, wow, this is like a school, and they give classes there, and they teach you spells and all that stuff, and how to like destroy Christians. How do you destroy Christians? Sex. Okay, sex. Lust is the major, and lust is like one of top marine kingdom, and fear, you know, because everyone fears, and it's like what you lust with the eyes, right? And the word says these are your eye gates. These are gates too, you know, where you hear. So you got to be careful what you see. If your eyes are clean, your body's gonna be clean. That's what the word said. And if your eyes are dirty, then your body's gonna be dirty, you know. So you got to protect your eye gates and your ear gates too. Oh, and the mind, because you know the mind is a very powerful thing. So right when I go in, right, I'm seeing this in spirit. This is all gold. Right here, this will be all gold. And right here will be gold, and there'll be like doors and stuff and classes. And this right here, it's like they have the army here. He has Dan has his army here. And with his top army like armed, I mean armed, heavy duty, not like the cheap stuff. No, I mean armed, heavy. So if anything goes down, these babies will be, you know, will be the one popping up. And I mean, like, we're talking about like ancient, you know, wearing like heavy armor and stuff. And then this door right here will be like a reunion and stuff. But all this time, you could see people like here. I could see people, humans and creatures, right? But I didn't get like draw more detail into it. And you're like, oh, you know, but I see further down other things since, you know, just about has different names. Some people know by Mama Wata in Africa, right? And then Catholic religion is known as the Virgin Mary. What? How? Well, let me tell you. When I got to witchcraft and all that stuff, like espiritismo and all that, I always saw this woman since when I was a kid. You know, my parents always, like my mom, she always went to like tarot readings and all that stuff. And I remember since very little, once I walked in her and she was in this person at the house. And she's like, Isa, what are you doing here? You know, go to your room, go to your room. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, and then the guy, he's talking, he's like, hey, you have something, you have like some power. Like when you're older, you gotta receive it. Like it's gotta develop. It's craziness right there. But something been happening since I was a kid. Something's always been happening. I've been seeing things. That's why, but I kept my mouth shut because, you know, you tell people what you see. People gotta think you're a freak when you're different. You're like, she's a freak. Don't even play with her. You know, so people are like really mean, you know. So I didn't tell nothing. I didn't tell nothing to nobody. So I discovered this later on. I kept seeing this woman. And listen to the way I'm gonna describe her. She was white with dark hair. And she wore a dress that was white and blue. Who do you know that's like that in the Catholic? Yep, the Virgin Mary. People are like, oh, you know, yes, you respect her because she's, you know, the mother of God. Yes, you respect her. That's it. We don't have to worship her. You know, no, there's only one person you worship, and that's God. And he's a very jealous God, okay? And I have experienced that firsthand. And, so, right there, I'm surprised. And the thing is, she's the Queen of the Waters. The person I'm seeing who's wearing a white and blue dress is the Queen of the Waters. And where do we find the Queen of the Waters? Revelation 17:1, right? Who is that? Jezebel has different names. Let's say in Santo Domingo, she could be Santa Marta. How? Santa Marta, isn't it dominant? Isn't she cares about, you know, she's very seductive and sexual and all that stuff, right? And if you gotta think about it, and then maybe, just like I'm saying, Africa, it'll be Mama Wata, it'll be Jemaya, or in Chinese, it'll be some other name in China, you know, but it's the same demon, different names. You know, how do you know the character, her character? And how do I know? Yeah, I'm delivered from that spirit too. I didn't know. I did not know. Because I come from a Catholic family, but when I gave my life to Christ, and later on, I discovered her trait, and I'm like, that used to be mine. Like, that's weird. I used to be a person that's very dominant, very controllable, very seductive. I was seduced with my eyes, with my body, And if we go back to biblical times, we're like going back to Jezebel the way she was. And let me see where I have it. We talk about it, and it says, and Kings 2:9-30-32, right? It talks about when Jehu came and Jezebel saw him, what did she did? It says, she painted her eyes and adorned her head and looked out the window. What does it mean, paint her eyes? She put makeup on. So let's talk about it like for you can understand. So she put makeup on and she got nice, wear the crown and stuff. She got her hair done. And right when he saw that, like Jay was like, I can't deal with this. But she's seducing how? By the eyes, by her body and her looks. She's a very perverted. That's what I was like. Very highly top. That's my, I don't hide it. And God knows that I don't hide nothing as the way I came. The way he took me out of, And that's why I came out of, fornication, lust, pornography, masturbation. Yeah. Incubus, and spiritual husband. Yeah. That's where I'm free. And so you see, it's the same. It has different names. So spiritually, God showed me what? A kingdom under the sea. That's Lucifer's kingdom. He's always down below or something. He's in the second heaven too. He's like everywhere. But he's not God. Because he can't be like everywhere that God is, Let's say, for example, there's a meeting. He has this satanic meeting. He has to be here, but he can't be there in the same time too. No. That's why he sends his demons to do that, because he can't. He's got to go to the point one. Then after he finishes, he's got to go to the next and the next, and that's how it is. That's how it works out. But I saw like during that kingdom, I saw Egyptian giants in the wall because she could transform and stuff, and that's why I remember I saw a wall with like Egyptian stuff, and and if we look. Egyptians, they're not the best, like, they have a lot of sin. And that's why, like, what I saw is something that I knew what I was doing was not of God. And even people when they're married, you got to be careful what you're doing, because God is a holy God. He's not a perverted God, People are confused. Oh, because you're married, you can do some stuff. No. It's not. So, like, then, like, further down, right, God shows me, okay, I have seen God's hand, like, in person. I have seen Jesus, and I have seen his hand work. How? Once, since I got free from everything else that you all know about right now, I'm continuing my walk. I blocked every single thing. If I had to take out a friend or family, trust me, I'm going to take out of my everywhere. I don't care. I erased everything. Music, video, photo. If I couldn't see videos, like I couldn't take it by my eyes, I would tell my best friend or like maybe my co-worker or something like, hey, can you erase this? I can't take it, Just one drawing or one picture that you look at, it could change you. Something could come in. Like, it is such an open door. Like, you gotta be careful with your eye. Porn. That's why, like, don't listen to music nowadays. Like, music of the world is like talking about sin. What do you see nowadays? Every single music video, you see someone in some bikini, and if you would have been like an old bikini, nope, it's gotta show her bum, gotta show her ass out everywhere. And that, what are you seeing? What is that telling you? Like, you gotta be more skimpier. So it's like lust is coming out. And people are becoming more lustful because the songs are getting more lustful. And everything you go, even the song could be about depression, about a breakup. And you got to see some guy in a bikini thing, and you're going to see a girl shaking her butt. And you're like, what does this got to do with the song? But that's what they're trying to teach, So when I was right, I'm in Milwaukee and I have raised everything. And if you want to follow Christ, you have to leave your life. You have to leave it. Okay. So when one day I'm like laying down in bed, and I have experienced this before, and people know it as what do you call paralysis? I don't know. It's like a demon that once you're sleeping, right? You can't move. You can't move. I just forgot the name of it. Okay, that's how real this is. Okay, this is live right now. You can't move. You can't move because it's so powerful. Like as his atmosphere, like even if he's walking by, you can't move. Like you can't move no matter what. And I think what they call like spiritual paralysis or something like that. Something like that. And right when I'm like, since I experienced that before, I remember before it got on top of me, and I remember seeing this creature like ugly as crap, and I just couldn't move my body. Like I couldn't move it, and I couldn't move a lips, but I could see I'm awake, and I'm like, okay. And this creature is like on me, and this is before when I was in sin, and then after, a Christian now as baptized and everything, they like come around like once in a while. They be coming like maybe to test out or something. I don't know, but I remember I was sleeping and I see something like spiritually coming in my room, and I'm like, something is coming in. But you know what? Automatically, when that thing came in, I couldn't move my body. I could not move it, not even my lips. And I'm like, Father, the only thing that's working is my mind right now. And you know what? I knew God is with me. Like Dad always says, hey, I am always there with you. You're not alone. You have angels, but you just can't see them. Sometimes there's certain things, situations that you can. And right there, and I'm like, oh my God, here we go again. Here we go again. I'm not scared. I'm like, I'm calm. I felt like that moment when, I think it's in Matthew 13. It talks about when Jesus is out the boat and he's like sleeping, and his apostles are like going crazy because, it's like a storm, and, and they're like waking up Jesus, and, he's just sleeping through the storm. That's what I was. I was sleeping. I'm like, okay, but I know something's coming, I can see it. And all of a sudden, when he climbs on top, I see this hand, and like, tell you, like God said, like, she does not belong to you. I mean, seriously, I saw his hand, and that thing flew. I mean, he flew like Superman. So that means spiritually, he had to manifest in the physical. So everything is physical. Everything is physical. And let me see if there's more like mermaids encounters that I have. Oh yes, I did. There's another encounter, right, that I was in the spiritual realm, and I had to do like a mission, right? So I'm like crossing this water, and I have a mission to accomplish, and I'm like, I don't know why I went in the water. And when I went in this water, there's this mermaid under the water, and I'm like, she tried to kill me. That mermaid tried to kill me. I'll tell you, when you see these creatures right here, they're not your friends. Nope, just because you see them all pretty and stuff, they're not your friends. There's some of them appear really ugly. It's just, when people can transform, it's like people can transform, The darkness has power. You can transform an animal, even a wolf. It's just, to be able to transform into some weird creature, even a snake-like, you have to give sacrifice, high, really high, to able to have that. And so, yeah, they're not, there's what do they call it? And if we go back to Greek mythology, they talk about sirens, mermaids, right? These creatures in the water, as in seducing spirits, as in they're always luring you in, and once you're in, and then you hear that song, you die because they bring you into the deep in the water, so they're telling you right there that they're not good creatures at all. So this is me. I'm going to show you right now, right? And sorry, this is what I saw right here, right? And yeah, I'm not the best drawer or anything, but you know, I did like an example thing. And right here, this would be the mermaid, but I saw one who has like dark skin, and she had no top, right? But she was had these colors. She had these colors, right? And that's like Mama Wata, what they call Jemaya, what they call like, you know, like I said, just about and stuff and spirit. It just it depends. Like the different mermaids too, you know. But you know, they're different mermaids. There's a whole bunch. You know, that's why some people, when they get possessed or something, they have the mermaid spirit and stuff. But everything here, the Marine Kingdom exists because if we go back to the beginning, right, and we go into the part when there was a man who was possessed by Legion, right, and there's the part that the demons tell him, please, 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 send us out to the pigs, herd of pigs, right? Where do the pigs go? Pigs go where? They jump off the cliff and they go where? In the water. What's the secret code to that? They belong in the Marine Kingdom. Because when they died, as in pig form like died, they got out and they went back to their habitat. You know, so that's the Marine Kingdom right there. It doesn't tell you. You have to like, you know, I'll tell you, the Bible is a mysterious thing. Like you have to like really look at it, and it has secret codes, like it's hiding. This right here, trying to kill me, okay? And okay, let me tell you this. When something in spiritual realm happens to you, like you get bit or you die, something here in the natural has, you know, some demon took something away from you, or you're paralyzed from something here, because that's how it works. That's why it's important to walk. It's important to pray in the morning and in the night. It's very important. And then when you see this by the side, right? Because I know you guys could see it, right? I'm gonna tell you like later, okay? Let me first go into the mermaid stuff, and then you know I will let you go on your way. How mermaids too? Remember I told you mermaids too, right? And there was one part when I was in a spiritual realm, and I'm like around a house, and I'm like walking around. And right when I'm walking around, I see this guy across from the pool. I'm like in a pool area. And I see him, and he sees me. And right when he sees me, he jumps in the water. Man, that thing went so quick under the water. And I'm like, I see a mermaid. And he's like, hi. Like trying to do conversation. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to trust you. Because what do they say in Greek mythology? That what? Mermaids are what? Seducing spirit. And how does this all work? Because if we go back to Genesis, right? We go back to Genesis on Genesis 6:4. Talks about the Nephilim were on earth in these days. And also afterwards, then the Son of God came into what? The daughters. And they bore what? Children. So that means what? They had a relationship there. You know, spiritual marriage happening. And when they have the kids, you know, sometimes they're the ones that, you know, of Greek mythology, like these giants, right? They have some truth in it. Like if you realize it, you know, like Sam story, you gotta have to like study it and, you know, realize really well what like the message is. So when I see this creature transform right before my eyes in the water, I'm like, you know, there's seducing spirits that trying. Once you see one and you're like, hi, you know, I'm gonna grab this one. You're like, oh hi, you know, you have talk, and you're like, he's gonna think you like him, right? And right there, when I'm telling you, when you're married and you're dreaming of marriage, gotta think. Because you could be spiritually married and not know. And that means you're married to a demon. And he has legal authority over you. And you're not going to remember nothing. Right? So they come in different ways. Because once you open a door, right? To some, like they, me. As in pornography. You know, other demons open the doors to other things. And, sorry, hold on. That's mystic, so don't worry about it. Spiritual things, right? So I want you guys to realize that the spiritual realm is real. You know, God reveals just there's some things that if you can't take it, you know, he's not gonna, you know, show it to you. You know, you gotta ask for it and prepare for it, because it's hard to see this stuff. Sometimes there's some things that's happening, and you have to fight, and you have to, like, you know, God calls you, like, you gotta do it, you know. And when you saw me, like, in the ocean, and when you saw the one in the water, right, it's because I had a mission. I was doing something, and I went in the water. But, you know, there's some certain places in the spiritual realm that's also dangerous, you know. And obviously they're angels with you, because, you know, you don't see them, but they're with you in the spiritual realm. They do. It's just you have to keep open your eyes, like, because it's like your eyes have veils, right? Even the Bible talks about, right when you get baptized, or like you know, you give your life to Christ, your veils, you know, they break, and you see. He opens your eyes. So, and I have seen things that God has shown me. I have seen God, like, as the fire, as Moses. If you go in Exodus 3:6, it talk about Moses was talking to a fire. He went ahead and he was like, "What's that? There's a burning branch, and it's not burning." And it's, what? This is weird. And he went forward, and it, you know, and then God revealed himself, like, "Hey, it's me," you know. So I have also seen God like this, right there. So, and that's spiritually, you know, I spiritually saw that. And I was walking, and he's like, "Hey, this is like holy land." And I see myself also barefoot. Like, I couldn't step on, like, my feet could not step on it. And, you know, there's things that exist. And let's go look for something else, like the one that you saw the troll, right? This, what I'm gonna show you right now, is I was, like, in the spiritual realm, and when God, he caused me to do, like, free somebody. I'm freeing somebody, and I see a woman and a man in different cells. And let me tell you this: once your sin, depending on your sin, you're in cells. Like, in the spiritual realm, you're in a cell. Okay, you don't even know you're in jail. And sometimes people could be like, "Hey, you're in a cell, you're this and that," and you don't realize it because you're like blind. You're like blind, you know. And they feed you stuff too. You know, demons feed you food. There, that's why they say, when you're dreaming of eating, that's not good. Okay, what is it that you're eating? Eating demon's flesh. Demons are coming in you. That's why you wake up, and then you ate from this dream, and you had a dream that you swallowed a snake, or, you know, when you ate something, next day you have, or something later on, you have back pain, you have headaches, and, like, later on, things are manifesting. And then when you get this deliverance, they say, "Hey, I see a snake in your stomach." You're like, "What? Didn't I dream this?" That, you know, it started with a dream that I swallowed a snake, and the back pain came. You know, I'm giving an example. And now you're hearing that there's a snake in you. You know, so you can't eat. You know, tell God, "Give me strength, Father, you know, for me to, like, not eat." Don't eat unless God is directly giving you something, water or something. You do not touch the food in spiritual realm. It is not food. It looks like, "Hey, this delicious cake is so." It's not a cake. Not a cake. It's not a cake. Okay, you're eating some flesh of demons. You're swallowing demons up in there, and you gotta take care of your body. So let's not get back to track. So I'm saving this person, and I see the cells, and these cells, and I'm like, each person is alone in this cell. It's like they're like alone, and sometimes there's cells like a whole bunch of people together, but these people were like apart. Like, I could see one girl here and another boy here. Like, that was like a deeper part, right? And I found her, and I got that guy too free, and the girl, she was so terrified. I'm like, okay. I found her, I got her, and I'm like, okay, be calm, be still, like, everything's gonna work out, okay? And since I'm like let's go say, like, I'm a spy, right? Because I'm like, it's hide, we gotta escape, okay? And I'm like, shh. And she's like flipping out, she's terrified. And I can see a guard. I can see a guard, and I'm looking at her, I'm like, oh, there's a guard. And she's terrified because she knows about it. And the guard was a troll. The guard was a troll. And I'm like, what? He's a troll. And so when I see a troll, it looks like this, right? And I'm like, if you look at it, right, All right, I'm not the best drawing, but I always draw something that's like, compared to what I saw and stuff. So, what? They're supposed to be fake? Nope. I'm telling you, spiritual realm is real. God is the spiritual father. Angels are spirits too, spiritual. Demons are spiritual too, And, that's why, and when you think about it, and, I got them out. I got them out of there, and, they were free. But, like, once you're, like, free and you're, like, spiritual, then here, in the physical, you're free too. But you gotta look for a church. You gotta get, the key is the deliverance. You gotta do a deliverance. Trust me, you'll see the difference. Because I know things I was bound to, and things I have seen that, God has showed me, and He hasn't showed, like, people, so one day I was in a different part in the spiritual realm, and I see myself like in a forest, right? And I'm just like, okay, I'm in a forest. Why am I in a forest? But I see this creature, and I'm like, what is that I see? I see a wolf. I'm like, what? That is a wolf. That is a huge thing. I'm like, oh my God, that's so huge. Everything that you see in movies as wolves, not as main turners over that. No, I mean wolves. Huge wolves. That's what I saw. And what I found, like, there's different verses I found, but the one I wrote here is in Acts 20:29. It says, I know that after my departure, fierce wolves will come among you, not sparing the flock. And yes, we know you could think about like as people dress in wolves and stuff, right? But if we think about it, right? I'm gonna show you right now. Right here, right? This is like a wolves I saw, and the thing is, I'm gonna tell you something. Once you see that, and people are like, oh, you have God, and they're not gonna do no. But if you have no idea what's happening, right? And then there's some certain, like, since Christians, there's a whole bunch of Christians, right? And there's a whole bunch of, different. It's the same thing in the Satanic Kingdom. It's the same thing. There's a lot of people who are Luciferians. There's a lot of people who are in, like, in the vampirism. There's a lot of people who are in the wolves things, right? So let's say this is a pack of wolves, right? Pack of wolves. And they have, like, in the spiritual realm, they, since they did something like a sacrifice, let's go say that it says you gotta kill 2 girls to be able to obtain the power that you want. That's transformed to wolf. You transform into wolf. You are conscious of what you're doing, and I could kill you if I want if you get discovered, because you have no idea, and you're gonna have to run for it. I mean, run. In my experiences, what I'm seeing there, everything I'm showing you here, it's my experiences. My experiences, what I experienced, what God has shown me, and stuff like that. And when I saw that, I was like, what? I ran for my life, because when they saw, like, me, like, ooh, I got caught. I ran for my life, because I knew I was in bad time and something. I'm like, I ran for it. But it, them are like really fierce wolves, and they will rip you to shreds. And since what you know about vampires and wolves and the fantasy, like, let's go to fantasy for a sec. They say that you can't know about them, because if you know about them, they're gonna do what? They're gonna kill you, right? It's the same thing in the spirit realm. Sorry, in the spirit realm, there's laws. There's laws. Yes, there's laws, and if you break a law, you're gonna have to pay for it. It's the same thing as here. When you break a law here, don't you have to pay for it? Right? It's the same. So, if they say you cannot get caught of someone knowing that you exist, as a transformation as a wolf, right, as a person, and they get caught, and you're there watching, they could kill you. You know why? Because they have the authority, the order of killing you. Because right in the spot, if they're gotta get busted, and they gotta get arrested. Yes, they gotta get arrested in the spirit realm. They're gonna be like, I don't care. What do I got to lose? I'm gonna kill that person. And so some people are like really, not thinking right as like, oh, God is with me. And, no, there's some things that, you shouldn't be, it depends where you go. Like, you gotta be careful, Well, this is things that he saw, but things, man, that's scary to tell you that, okay? And when you go to the satanic, right? Satan uses this as torture, right? They torture their people, as in if someone breaks a law or not following something, maybe this is like punishment, and what's the punishment? He could rip you to shreds. What is the other person gonna do? They're not gonna do nothing, because if Satan says, oh, rip him to shreds to teach him a lesson because he didn't listen to me, you think the other person is gonna stick up for you? The person who's in there? No, they're not. Do it, but I don't know. He got killed. I'm not gonna be the next one. Because that's fear. Fear. They bring fear. That's why the American of fear is major, and lust, because that's what it is. So I want you to think that this ain't no lies. When you think about it, like, you're like, everything is real. Everything is real. That So let me see if I have something. Oh, angels. Let's go talk about angels in spiritual realm. And angels, I have had some certain things, and I'm going to talk about God too. I'm going to talk about God and what I saw as a kid and an adult too, a little bit. And I'm going to go into like a verse where is it, right? Angels come in different forms, not only in wings, right? But they have no wings too. Also, they have wings, they have no wings, and they're animals too. They're different things, right? And my experiences with angels is this one. When I gave my life to Christ in August of 2020, and in December, right? There was something like on my pastor. She had this miracle happen to her. And she's like, oh, I had received a call, received a miracle. And I decided, I'm going to be the next person. I'm going to receive a phone call. I'm going to get my miracle before the 31st of December. And it was December something. But I'm like, before the 31st of December, I'm going to get my miracle. And I put on my mind. And what happened was I was asking for a car because something happened to my car. And, every single day I started to, my car is just getting worse and worse and worse. Instead of getting good news, it was bad and bad and bad. And then I'm asking for a car. I'm asking just for a car. I'm believing it. And there was this day, like, added so much negative thing that was going on. I decided to be alone. I'm like, I can't take it. Like, I want to be alone. Not that I'm depressed or nothing, because I wasn't. It's just I wanted to be alone. Like, so much things, so much. It was like stress, And I'm like, I'm gonna be alone. I don't want to know. And I blocked everything. Like my best friend, I took out everything. Like off, and I didn't even go on it. And in the spiritual realm, like in the spirit, I'm walking, right, and it seems like a Mars someplace. I don't know. I'm like walking, and next thing you know, I feel someone like these wings, like an angel grabs me, and he's like, "Who said that you are alone?" I'm like, and I can hear the wings flapping, and like I'm just so surprised. And that person is like bringing me so high up that I could see the whole earth, and I'm like so surprised. And when he hugged me, I felt this love, like this heat, this warmth, this peace, and like it's of God. And like when you're confused about something you're watching, you're like, oh, she's lying. And how do you know? The word says in John 1:4, I think it is, it talks about what? Test thy spirit. If it's of God, you gotta test the spirits. It's the same thing with angels. You gotta test those spirits, because sometimes they come in light and they're not. Okay, I'm gonna tell you that. That's the next one I'm talking about. And then I woke up, and next day I'm like, I had my strength back again. Like I was like, wow, God gave me directly angel, an encounter directly to tell me, hey, I love you. You're not alone, okay? And I was like, wow, this is like so like an amazing. And then, so the next thing, when I talk about this, like part as in, sorry, angels, falling angels, right? How do you know? How do you know if angels? Doesn't the word says that even, Lucifer addresses as angel of light? So that means not only Lucifer, but his buddies too, right? So they also dress in sheep clothing, right? And once when I was praying in spirit, I feel this this person like come in but as an angel of light. This angel of light, and I'm just like surprised. And I'm like, wow, I can see an angel. But the weirdness is the atmosphere is like so heavy. And I'm like, wow, this is weird. Like, why is this heavy? It's presence. But this person wanted me to worship him. Like, I want you to worship me. I'm like, what the? And the word says, don't worship the angels. If someone brings you a different gospel, the one that let him be cursed. That's true. And you're like, what? The word says not to worship angels, only worship God. Because they're going to tell you straight up. If you worship an angel, they'll tell you, hey, I'm your brethren. I'm just a messenger of God. And they're going to tell you straight up like that, So I was like, I know this. And, I heard like the Holy Spirit say, look at his eyes, look at him in detail. Like he was describing him, like, look at him well. And I'm like, and I noticed right away, I'm like, I rebuke in the Jesus name. You are no angel of light, And then it went away. So, it says the word, test thy spirit. And how do you know? When something of God comes, like you don't feel this pressure of like this malice, like this evilness around, like this presence, this heaviness. You don't feel that. You feel this light, love, peace, full of light, So I have seen different angels, and even in, when I was, the same day I was, I gave my life to Christ and I had my deliverance, right? When I went to bed, because I didn't believe it at first, okay? I'll tell you that. The way I got free, I keep telling you, if I didn't tell you this, or I did, I'm sorry, is Christ freed me, okay? Jesus Christ freed me, okay? And I know, because I was bound to a whole bunch of stuff. And the next day, gone, okay? So when I went to bed that day, I shut off my lights. Man, that was bad. That was such a bad idea. That was a bad idea, because when I was in, like, how did this happen? When I was in sin, right? I heard this voice. And I was in my cell phone, right? Let's say it's my cell phone. I was in my cell phone watching videos on YouTube. And I hear this voice say, hey, I want you to look at this video. I'm like, is the voice on crack or what? Like, no. You know what I said to the Holy Spirit? Nope. Nope. I'm not. Who do you think you are? Trying to boss me around. I'm not going to listen to you. I didn't know it was the Holy Spirit, okay? Whoo. Yeah. If everyone knows, the Holy Spirit, worship God. He's full of love. No. Boy, am I in for it. He got so pissed. I mean, pissed off. And I've never seen such an authority. Like, and hey, I'm a Hispanic, okay? My mom has a really nasty attitude. Like, everyone knows Hispanic attitude, right? And this one was beyond. Like, he shook me to the core. And I'm not talking about shook like something good. I mean, bad. I mean, he shook me violently. And he's like, you are going to watch, you like it or not. And I just never felt some authority, like higher authority, like not even as a military, okay? Like, this is worse than the military. And I felt so small, like I started to shrink back. I'm like, okay, I don't know what the heck he wants, but I'm gonna see what he's going on, what he wants. And when I look at the video, is what I'm going on, what I'm going through. I'm like, wow. And that day I started renouncing and all that stuff. And let me tell you, soul ties are really important part of the renouncing, okay? Anyways, I'm gonna continue. And right when I renounced and all that stuff, and during me renouncing, and I'm doing my deliverance, right? My daughter's with me, sitting down, like right here, as if right now. And I started renouncing, and I started to like feel things around, like I could see things around and hear things like, hey, stop, like in my mind, I could hear it, stop, and I'm like, what? And right there, I was manifesting. Right there, my body started to shake, like finally, and I was like cold and hot, and I couldn't control my body, and I started to like vomit and throw up, and um, and I hear during that process, my daughter, she like changed like 100%, like her eyes changed, like, and if you're a mother or a father and something's going on with your kids, you gotta stop right away. And I'm gonna get into prayer, and she's like, Mom, stop, stop, stop. But her face like transformed, like this evil thing. I'm like, look at her. I'm like, what the heck is going on? I'm like, something is going on. And then I hear this voice saying, don't stop, continue. And I continue to the end, even though that tried to stop me. Like, stop, stop, Mom, stop, stop. And I'm like, oh, I gotta continue to the end. I listen to this voice. I'm not gonna get buzzed again. Okay? Don't. If Jesus Christ is calling you, you better listen, okay? And so once I get delivered, right, and I didn't know it because I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it. And I went to bed, and I shut off my lights. And right when I shut off my light, man, that was a bad idea. Like I was in sin for so long that, everything just shook. Like my bed started to shake like this. And like, if you see my deliverance thing, like, I really, really, really get into details, but it started to shake. And right when it started to shake, I could feel this presence, and I could feel this other presence. I could hear this growling, like, like as in, I felt that moment like Daniel, he's faced with, lions, right, in the den. And I just felt like lions were around. And I just felt like my bed for an instant, it transformed like as if I'm in the ocean and I'm in a boat. And if I fall in the boat, I'm gonna get eaten. And I'm like, and there's this other presence that I can't see, but I know this person is here. And I don't even know why I start saying, Christ, Jesus, I'm sorry if I've sinned. You know what the word says, don't be a hypocrite, he knows your heart, right? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, Father, if I have sinned against you. And nope, you don't. And then the thing is, my daughter's sleeping in my bed, and next thing you know, my daughter is being dragged like this, like out of her bed. Okay, something supernaturally is like pulling her out of the bed. Like I can see her getting pulled out of the bed, and I'm like, what the heck? And when I'm like saying, oh, forgive me, I could see my daughter leaving, and I knew Jesus was right there. Like, I couldn't see him at that moment. I couldn't see him, and I'm like, okay, he's leaving. And then I'm like, oh, and then when I noticed that my daughter's gonna leave, because my daughter, something spiritual is taking her. Like, something is right there, and, manifested in the physical. And even though I can't see it, but something manifested in the physical. I knew Jesus was gonna leave my side, and I started to cry in my heart. I'm like, Father, forgive me if I have sinned against you. I'm so sorry if I didn't believe in you as you were the Savior of Christ, as you died on the cross for me. And when I gave my heart out, my daughter was back in my bed, like, back. And that day, like, okay, that day, the spiritual eyes opened a lot, like a lot went down, because that day, I heard, this is why I turned to Christ, because, that day I heard Jesus, I saw Jesus, he appeared, and he said, Isa, daughter, I love you, you are my daughter, and I love you. And I was like, this is the first time I hear someone say I love you. And I have my mom and I love her and everything, but I have never heard my mom say I love you, and it's very important. If you have kids and you don't tell them I love you, it's very important that I love you, okay? And when I heard him say, Isa, I love you, you're my child. And I'm like, I cried. I was like so, you know, and at the same time, the enemy is like, doesn't want to let me go because, you know, I've been bound for so many years, and I can hear him, Lucifer, no, why her? Why? But this, I can see Jesus, but I can't see the enemy. I can hear him. And I'm like, why? He's like, why her? Why? And God is like, you know what? You're not to touch her or her daughter. You will not touch her. He was so mad. He didn't want to let me go. And then when he finally let me go, I could see. And the thing is, God has a different language, okay? Some weirdest language I couldn't understand at first. I'm like, what? But thank God for the Holy Spirit. He like automatically like a download. Automatically downloaded. And I understood what he was saying, you know, like, so it was quick, you know, like a download like your computer. And, you know, that day I decided to follow Christ. I'm like, okay, if you want me to follow you, give me a sign. Next thing you know, I decide, because usually they say, you know, that, you know, that doesn't work out and you got to have a higher authority to do a deliverance. And that's what I did. The next day I went to a church. And right there, I, you know, went to a higher church who does deliverance, who believes in healing and the sick and all that stuff. And so I went and asked for a deliverance thing, like, you know, can you pray for me and whatever thing. And then nothing happened. I was like, normal, nothing manifested. And I said to God, give me a sign if you really want me to give, you know, my life to you. And the sign is I heard the pastor say, okay, I'm going to do baptism and this day. I'm like, what? And I'm like, that was the sign, because I told him the sign. And that day I decided to give my life. I gave him to him. The day I accepted him. Yep. And then after that, I never regretted it since, you know. It's been a process because, you know, it's been hard. And the thing is how angels go by, like, as in the experience I have with angels, like the ones I told you about, right, that he showed. And then when the same day that I accepted Christ, that's when nothing easy happened, you know, everything was hard. And then I was so terrified because even the day that, you know, I accepted Christ, you know, there's a lot of scary stuff. Because can you imagine a bed shaking when you're like sleeping and shaking finally? And it seems like you're an earthquake or something, like, you know, and it's like, you know, that's how it was. And so, and the day I shut off my light, that's what I was. And I did not. And the thing is, when I was in sin, I always felt fear, like terrified for some reason, you know, and terrified. And, you know, because obviously what I was in, and, you know, I would always feel things in the night, you know, and stuff, touch me and stuff. So, you know, I accepted and I turned my life to Christ, so I don't regret it. But, you know, spiritually, a lot of things happen. And the other experience I had with the angel was that when I was trying to sleep, because really I was terrified and I couldn't sleep and the lights were on, I felt these wings of the angel go just like wrap me around, and he said, Issa, sleep. Issa, sleep, you're fine. I'm like so terrified I couldn't even sleep. Terrified. And I couldn't sleep. And I could just feel this, you know, I could see this angel and these wings, sleep, Issa, sleep. And it's been so hard until I finally could sleep. And I could feel him like, or, you know, the angel, touching me, like, you know, I could feel it. And like something's going down, I don't know what, the seal's on, or he like giving me warmth or like calmness, or I don't know, only he knows, right? And God. But that day, like, that was the experience I had. And during the day I got delivered, I also had experience that, you know, when God opened my eyes that day, the spiritual realm came to reality, since happened in the living room, and I saw different things. But though the time I was in my room, I started to see things like right there. I started to see this war going around, on, with angels and demons, and I could hear that, and the flashing and the fighting, and I'm like, you know, it's like funny if you think about it, you know, like you're like, well, this is real, you know, in realness, that's what it is, you know. When you're like in sin, you know, demons win, you know, because obviously in sin. But when you're like, you know, you're in your walk with Christ, you know, you gotta help the angels win, you know. That's what you can't see it, but it's a battle for your soul, you know. So I remember that time seeing this angel, which I don't know who it is, I can't tell you. I know there's biblically they talked about it, you know, but I just don't know, you know, and I see this angel with this armor, like golden armor, like heavy duty armor, like I'm talking about back in the old days armor, like you thinking about gladiators or something, like, you know, heavy armor. Yeah, but gold, like pure gold, gold, gold. And I remember here being gold, and then the bottom part was like browns or something, like I don't know. And I was just like, wow. And then his hair was like blonde. I'm like, wow, like look at him, he is so beautiful. I'm like, is that a girl? Like I was so confused because had long hair. I could see like this hair like in the front, just I don't know how exactly, right? And I got confused. I'm like, is that a girl? Is that a boy? I really don't know. So till this day, there is something like I have it here, John, like what I saw, but let me see where it is. Let me see. The way I saw it is, let me see. I don't know. Let's see if I can find it, because there's so many things I have in here. And this is my thing. Like when I see things, God shows me, even in the spirit. You know, I always like, you know, I draw it. You know, so here it is. Okay, so this right here, I drew wings, right? But since it's like in with not in crayons, I think, well, I drew it, and since white doesn't look good, like you can't see it or something, I had to draw in black for, like, you know, you could see the details of it. But what I saw that day, like in something like this kind of thing, like right here, it was like this, a golden armor. I might not be like perfect at drawing or something, but he had this armor, and he had this, like, he was built, you know, but he was like an authority. And I always think that it's like either it's Michael or it's Gabriel. Like that's my thought. And like when they talk about him, I don't know if they have it here, they talk about him like in Daniel. It describes kind of, but I don't know. I can't tell you exactly because, you know, I just don't know who it is. Like, I don't know. And I hope one day God will be like, okay, so this is the person you saw. For real. But he was like an authority, like, you know, like a boss, you know. So I don't know who it is, but I always think it's either Gabriel or Michael, you know, one of those two. It's gotta be one of those two, because authority stuff. But you know, I have seen different angels too, as like with armor too, different type of armors, you know, because angels, they go by ranks, you know, and the same thing as demons too, you know, it's the same thing. And we talk about, and you know, so I've seen that in the natural. That means spiritually they hadn't come in the natural, you know. And I have seen things too, like angels, different types of angels, like, you know, just flying around the room or whatever. Like I can see that in the spirit, and I draw, you know, sometimes like things I see, you know, and stuff. This is one, right? Something like this, right? And I can see things, right? Like drawing. Yeah, something like that, right? Where I can see lights, because angels could be lights, right? As in, like I seen, or transparent, or they could actually show themselves. Like I'm gonna show you, but they, you know, they're gonna be. It's too much glory. I mean, you know, glory. Because remember, they're like with the Father all the time. You have that glory. It's like really hard to even look at sometimes. But I've always seen the spiritual realm, even as a kid. You know, so when I was in sin, there was this time in Catholic, I did this what do you call it, retreat. I did a retreat, and I had an experience with God there. And that time, Jesus, I didn't know it was him. I see some living waters in the back, and I see this this person call out to me, Isa. And I'm like, I have it drawn too. I mean, you know, like what I saw kind of. He calls me Isa. I'm like, look at this person. The thing is, I could never see his face. Like his face was shining. I could see everything else, but the day I got delivered, I did see his face. I saw his face. Like, if I'm seeing you, you see me, okay? That day I saw his face. But the day he was calling me, I couldn't see his face. It was like looking at glory or something. It was so shining that you couldn't see it. Like, I couldn't. Like, you couldn't. And I remember he said, I am the one who is to come, the Alpha and the Omega. Like, he said all that. And then he's like, and I'm like, Jesus? And he's like, yeah, it is me. And how did I know? He showed me his marks. He showed me his marks. His feet, his hands. He's like, touch my rib. Touch it, touch it, touch it. And when I touched it, you could still feel the mark. You could still feel the mark. And you're like thinking, why? Why does he still have the mark? But in the Bible, it talks about that he's got to have it there. Because why? There's going to be a kind of time when he comes, right? Everyone's going to be judged, you know. They're going to be the person who did that to him. And he's got to say, like, it says like that. When they say, oh, why do you have marks on your body? He's got to tell, oh, my friends did this to me. And then they're going to realize the one that they killed supposedly is Jesus, who resurrected in the third day. You know, did that to him. Yeah, they're going to regret it. And that's why he has the mark, because he's got to show proof. As in what happened to him. He's got to keep those marks until they come, until he judged those persons. That's why he has those marks. And when I touched it and I saw him, I was like, wow. And the thing is, I could see him with a robe, like a white robe. And I could see him like with some sandals, like really simple sandals. And I could see this gold thing here, like gold. I could see something gold here. And then, you know, the face, I can't see. It's like looking at the sun. You can't see it. Like, it's just shine. And so I drew something like what I saw kind of thing. This is like in the beginning when I started to draw and stuff, like, you know, but sometimes like further down, you see when I take my time and I actually want something, right? But this is what I saw. Like, let me see. Try to get it right there here. Let me see, like right here. Right there. Like you can see like marks, right? That's what I saw, right? And I drew something like that. That was in the beginning. And you see like the water. You see the water. That was in the beginning of me drawing and stuff. But that same day, yeah, I had a horrible encounter too, you know, with the demon thing. Yeah. I'm telling you, I always had that eye open. I don't know if because my family comes, you know, did witchcraft and all that stuff, and that's why, you know, I'm probably open or something. I don't know. I can't tell you that, but since I was a kid, I could always see things. And I remember this I remember, and I don't tell people this. Like, people don't know this. Like, really, my closest people that do know this, you know, they know that. And now you and the whole world see in this video. But when I was a kid, I remember me sleeping. And I remember this creature came in. I'm going to show you because I have a picture that like what I've seen. Like I try to look for a picture to see like what is it. I saw this creature, like this tiny creature, like green and with this long hands and claws, and he grabbed me by the feet, and I remember him pulling me, like dragging me. I'm being dragged, okay? And I mean, this is physically right there, like now from the, you know, spiritual realm. Now it's in the physical, because I can feel it, and I'm being dragged. I mean, I'm being dragged out of the bed like this, like as you see me dragging this all, and something is dragging me, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, where is he taking me? Where is this demon taking me? Where is he taking me? And I'm a kid, okay? And I'm like living in PR, but I'm still kid. I'm like, what's going on? And I can hear this voice saying, I can see the demon, and I can see the angel was like, let her go. She does not belong to you. She is not yours. And that thing let me go. But I saw it. I remember hearing the angel thing because it was like behind or something. But I remember seeing the creature. Isn't that something, right? And let me see if I think I have it here somewhere. Let me see if I could find it and show you. These are my experiences that I have, like that I have shown you, like, you know, about the visions I told you about and showed you what God showed me and stuff and what I've been through and stuff. So this is all like supernatural. Okay, so right here, it's something like this, right? Once I like found something. So it's like they're like a short creature, right, with claws. And it's just like, you think that in this, you know, they have these claws like this, right? But in the spiritual, they're like bring fear, you know? They're like lapdog. Let's put it like that, like lapdog. They, you know, if Satan would be like, okay, I want you to bring this person here, like bring this, they like, you know, they listen, you know. They're in charge of like souls or people or something. That's what I felt like, that, you know, that right there, you know, because they're not huge, you know, to be like something, bring something scarier, you know, but that was real. And the bottom one that you saw is things I've seen in this spiritual realm too. Like, there are different types of demons. Yeah, they're green, some, you know. Yeah, I drew that like he's like looking through something, right? And he had like claws and stuff, but sometimes I get into it, like really drawn like into it. And I just want to tell you that spiritual realm is real. And even inside your body in the temple, it's real. When you like, there was this one time I told God, hey God, God, do I have doors open? Like, what am I doing? Like, is my door open? Next thing you know, I can see my spiritual house. You know what's open? My door. My door is open. I see a note, and it said, "You left the door open." I'm like, oh my God, I'm trying to, and I see these demons trying to come in, and I'm like fighting. I'm trying to fight it, and they're like, you can hear, and they're like trying to get, like, I can see their claws, and I'm just like, Father, please bring your angels down. I need them. Help me close this door. And the angels come and they help me close the door. But how did I open the door? I wasn't looking at lust, but sometimes if you get out of lust, there's some things you can't look, even though you think it's not harmful. It is. And what I was looking at the time, I was looking up like on YouTube, it came out, or even on Facebook too. It would come up like stories and stuff about like real life stories, but they made it into like anime and stuff like that, like cartoon. And they would play out like people and stuff, and sometimes they'll be act like you could see like a normal like bikini and stuff, and you can see, that's the only thing I was seeing at the time. Like, I wasn't looking at people nude or nothing. No, I was like looking at those stories, like people when they got cheated on, or like real life stories, different things. But they would like not show nothing, but it would be like maybe an underwear and bra, but you could still get the idea of like what it's talking about. I didn't think that was important. And then after that, when I saw that door, I'm like, I thought of that one, like straight up. I hear his voice like, it's that. And I'm like, when I stopped watching that, I'm like, nope, I'm not gonna get into this again. Everything stopped. So, you know, you gotta be careful, like what you're seeing. You know, do your eye gates, protect your eye gates. I'm telling you, you gotta protect your eye gates. So, you know, angels help me, you know, close the doors. But they're always there. It's just sometimes that, you know, you can't see them, you know. But, you know, it's just, you gotta be really prepared. Like, are you really, really ready to feel like an angel right next to you and see him? Like, are you gonna be scared, like, if he was right there and drag your book, and you're like sitting down and you see that? Are you gonna be scared? Or are you gonna be calm? You know? They're not gonna show up unless you're like ready for it, you know. And even my encounters were like, you know, depending on situations, like what I said, right? But, you know, yeah. Spiritual realm is real. Demons are real. You know, it's just, what are they? They're, you know, the ones from Noah's time, you know, because God destroyed the world at that time, really, because not, it was really because, you know, the angels had kids and they were making chaos all over the, like, that place. And they were making kids and they were stealing and, they were killing humans and animals and stuff, and the cries of the earth were like going to all the way his throne, and just all the way up in his throne. And it got to a point that he's like, oh, I can't take this anymore. I can't let like so many innocent souls like die like that. And they decided to take measures. And God's like, I gotta destroy everything. And that's why in that time, the flood, people don't know that the flood really was for those fallen angels, but they believe that, they destroyed because just the city of Sodoma. No, it's not only that. There's not only them. No. Yes, they were a sinful place and they did a lot of sin that now we're living in times and it's happening, because those times, it was happening all the way back to Lot that they were sleeping with angels. It goes all the way back to Genesis. It's still happening, it's so when angels came unto Lot, and the men saw, hey, who are these beautiful guys with clear eyes or whatever? Like, I wanna sleep with them. Like, open up the door, Lot. Open up the door. Let me play with it. Come on, like And in those times, there was much thing going on, like not offensive or anything like that to nobody. A lot of homosexuality happening, and a lot of like men and women also like fornicating and drinking and partying, just like nowadays. That's why the word says, and times of Noel will come to pass, because that's what happened then. And since there was so much sin, that I was like, I can't, I have to destroy it. And not only that, because the angels, the fallen angels now, sinned and brought so much chaos to the world and earth that God had to do something, put a stop, and he destroyed. But some of them lived, and they said that, their body got destroyed, but their soul is around. That's why when you like get possessed of something, they enter a body like a dry place. They look for a body, to possess, because they need it, because they don't have one. There's so that's why it says, and the times are coming near. And I have experienced things. That's why I'm saying, the spiritual realm manifests. And in my experience, I have seen tall creatures, as in Nephilim, and I have seen things like shadow. And I'm gonna show you right now. Okay, this is real. I'm gonna show you what is the meaning. Right there. Right, you see him right there, right there. And then this shadow, right, that you see right there, is when, right when you do a deliverance, right, and you are free and clean, and you're like, you gotta clean your house. Your house is important too. You gotta clean your house. And if you don't clean your house, you ain't going nowhere. I decided to get oil, and cleanse my house, every single corner, every single door, every single place, okay? And when I got to my room, and I got to my closet, let me tell you this shadow came out I can see that face. It flew because oil, I anointed my house all around, every corner. Those were the ones you call nightmare demons, night terrors, yeah, out of that. And the one you saw that I put Nephilim is because when they used to manifest in the natural, depending on, the demon or whatever, because I was in sin, I couldn't do nothing. Sometimes the face would change, horrible creature-like thing, and huge, really huge, beyond. And they would pick you up and treat you like you were a toy, for real. And that's what I would see. And I just can't draw the face because it's just too much ugliness. I don't know, it's too much. There would have to be right there for me to actually draw it, So this is my experiences with some things. But since I told you about that, I saw Christ, Jesus, as calling me, right? And that he looked as the, just Jesus when he died and he got risen in the third day. He came up to me as man, man with flesh. But when I was a kid, I also saw God in a different form too. I saw him where it says in Revelation 1, 14, 15. Let me see. Revelation. Sorry. Revelation 1, 4. Revelation 1, 4. Anyways, I don't know if it's 1, 4 or 14, 15. I think it is. I think it's Revelation 1. Oh, yeah. Revelation 1, 14, 15. I'm sorry, guys. It says, the hair of his head were white like white wool, like snow. His eyes were like flame of fire. So Revelation 1, 14, 15 talks about Jesus, how he's formed. So I have seen Jesus when he like risen, as he appeared as a man form. And I also seen him on the throne without knowing it was him. Because when I was a kid, I remember I went on the throne and I could see this man and I can't see his face because this is like looking at the sun. Can you look at the sun? You can't look at the sun without your eyes hurting. You know, you can't look at it, but I could see this person with white hair, and I remember like seeing the robe white and this huge, and I'm like, he's on a throne, and I'm like, and I knew that was Father. Like at the time, like, you know, I did something wrong, and I go on my knees and I'm like, I'm so sorry, Father, for like I have sinned, and I couldn't even look at his face because I was so ashamed, like, to look at his face, and he would be like smiling, like, hey, everything's gonna be alright, like, you know. And that day, what I saw is, it was like kind of a little bit, because before you come into heaven, there's a gate, and right when there's a gate, there's someone like right at the gate, and if your name is not at the gate, you ain't getting in. Okay, you're not getting in. And that day was like a revelation of different things, because since I was a kid, I was seeing things. Whenever I'm telling you that, I saw the day of the chaos that happened when the judgment of God, when God came. I could see people like running around. Hey, he's real. He came. And it was judgment, and people are being, you know, rising up. And I could see a white throne, and I could see a white background, and I could see people, and their scrolls are open, like the books, and, you know, and the angels on the side, and they're the one that tell you like what he did, what she did. You know, your life is gonna, when you say no, like I didn't do, oh no, I'm gonna show you your life. And I like TV, really huge. They say, oh, what is this? No, you gotta refresh your memory. You know, they're gonna tell you straight up. So it's better to God to tell you right now, like what's wrong, what you're doing wrong. You know, better than him to tell you in judgment. No. You know, and when I saw this, I drew it like later on, you know, around these few months back, right? But I can't tell you like how many years it was, because I was a kid, and I decided like, oh, I gotta draw this experience that I had too, because it was spiritually, you know. And this is what I saw, because I drew what like I want you guys to like see like what I saw, but like it's not gonna be maybe perfect, right? But what I saw is this right here, right? You couldn't see his face. It's like shiny, right? But you see his white robe, and he's like sitting on a throne thing, right? And the stairs were there, and the angels were here, but I didn't draw the angels, right? I draw him, and he has like white hair, like you couldn't even see it, like white hair. And you know, that's God as Jesus, you know, when he's coming in, you know, Revelation, because before he's man, you know, he's in flesh, and he had to die on the cross, and then when he rises up, he's on his throne, you know. So it's like I feel blessed that I got to see both, you know, when he's on the flesh and when he's on the throne without knowing it, you know. Not until I'm in my walk and I'm a Christian now and I understand, like I'm like, oh wow, you know, like this is amazing, you know. But yeah, you know, and he is like such, he always looks up for his kids to like, you know, he's waiting for you to come to him, to repent. And he really is a merciful, because I was so, I mean, when I mean rebellious, I mean really, really a rebellious, like, you know, like, you know, there's always that sheep that always like, there's 100% and then there's 99% one has gotta leave, like that black sheep's gotta leave. Yeah, that's me right there. Like, because I never fitted when I was a kid. I never fitted. Like, I never fitted. And so, you know, I was different. I was always different. So, you know, when I heard his voice, like audibly heard his voice when he said, I love you, that day I gave my life. You know, and you will not regret it. And I know sometimes you gotta give up your life, but I will not regret it. What is the point of giving, like, you know, pleasing the world and have everything and losing your soul? You know? No. Jesus is so, and it's so hard to explain, like, his love. Because when I saw him and he called me by my name, and when he said, I love you, it's like that voice is so, like, you feel the warmth, this heat, this light, this full of love, this kindness, this, it's so different that I have never experienced this, not even on earth. Not even with no one, not even if you could have like 5,000 lovers and you're not gonna experience it. Like, this love is beyond imagination. And it's just like, I cry because it's just so much. And he proves every day he cares for me. Even though you think you're, you know, if you're in a church and you think you're like no one because you're not at that stage and stuff like that, you're not, you know, preaching. I'll tell you the truth. I don't care about preaching like right there on top of the stage. No, that's not my thing. Maybe, you know, and besides, to be actually here on YouTube, it took me time, okay? Because I didn't even want to. Like, I heard then, like back, I heard God say, Isa, I want you to open up a YouTube. Like, I had it open, but I want you to put up, and I'm like, no. And I kept ignoring that. You know, one day I get this word from this chick. And said, you who God has told you, Jesus has told you to preach and get a YouTube, open your YouTube, stop getting fear, stop ignoring. Was that a direct or what? You know? And even way before today, before doing this video, because I have it in Spanish, like really different, English and Spanish. I was like thinking about it. I'm like, I don't know. Should I do one about English and like actually explain what my spiritual experience is like? So so now you know. Like, I have seen mermaids, right? I have seen trolls. I have showed you wolves, and you know, everything is real. So I thought about it. You know, I was thinking about it. I didn't tell nobody about it. But next thing you know, I'm going on YouTube. And you see these words going through and out like, Why are you thinking about it? You worried about the views or something? God says do it. What? Do it. Just do it. Don't worry. I got you. Dad. For real. He's amazing, for real. And I will tell you, like, once you, like, you know, when you truly want to follow him, give up your life, you know, you be ready, you tell him, Father, you know, you believe, like, I believe in you, the person who died for my sins and died on that cross, and you, however you want to say it, you don't have to say it perfectly. You can say it the way you want to say it, because he's still going to understand you either way. I'm sorry for my sins, for what I did. Please accept me in your book. The book of life, and like, just give it up. And when I mean give it up, I mean you gotta give it up. If you know that you're free from lust, or if you're free from anger, then you know you can't be angry. Things that be popping out, trust me, things that be popping out, you know, testing you. Even me, as in the spiritual realm, could hear a knock on my door going like this. Hey, open up. No, I'm not gonna open up. No, I'm not gonna. You think I'm gonna open up? No. You think I'm dumb? No. But this is a house. Let's say this is a house, right? There's a door here. You don't only guard your door. Are you kidding me? If you were to like guard this door, and when a burglar comes to your house, do you know which burglar comes to your house? No, they come through the windows. So that means your house has windows, has doors, it has light. You have to guard. place. And if you see your house has a little dent on there and it has a hole, you're like, I'm gonna get cement. Let's go get cement, man. Let's go get cement. Cover this, cause we don't want nothing to go in. And that's true. They be knocking on that door, and you can hear them like, "Hey, what up? You know, give me no." I don't know. They be testing you. Like God tests you too, because it's not like, you know, you. People think that when you're Christian, you're like, "Hallelujah, praise the Lord," and you're like, "Good." No, you know, you're human. You know, you repent every day because we're sinners. You know, I repent every day because I sin, and you know, God, you know, Father forgives me. He's like, He said, I forgive you because I know your heart. You know, I know your heart. I know you're pure. You know, your worth. Like He knows. He knows what's in you, and so you know, it was really hard for me to actually do even YouTube or anything like that. But, you know, I like to share my experiences and people to know that, you know, truth. People say it doesn't, but this right here is what, like, this is my book that I have revelation and stuff with God, what He has showed me in spirit, you know, and these are my experiences that I showed you about, you know. Some things here I don't fully all go into detail what He said because, you know, I just got the things important, like, as in what, you know, and stuff, But yeah, snakes are a big thing too, because when you're like in the spirit, you know, demons transform to animals, you know, so, you know, so you gotta keep an eye out, keep an eye out, you know. Well, snakes are, you know, if you see python, then you know python's gotta try to choke your life out as your prayer life. You gotta try to, you know, paralyze you. Don't. And just like the word says in like, who was it? Paul, was it? When he got that shipwreck or something. And he got bitten by the snake when he went. And people were amazed, like, hey, he's gonna die. But people didn't say it. You know, God says, you got bitten, shake it off in the fire. Shake yourself out of me. Shake it. And, you know, because the word says, you can get bit and it hurt, but the venom won't come. You know. So, you know, everything is spiritual. Everything's spiritual. You gotta think of everything spiritual. You gotta be careful with your words too, man. If you be cursing something, you don't even know it. There's things that gotta happen. Trust me. There's things gonna happen because I have seen things happen, and you know, you gotta be careful what you're saying. As the person, we have power in our words to kill and give life. Even Proverbs says that, you know. So I hope that you guys learned something from this, and you leave me comments in the inbox. Leave me comments. Tell you like what you think about, what you're confused about, what you want to know about, and stuff. And you know, there's like so much, you know. So when you read Revelation, ask God, like, God, please give me a revelation of what I'm reading for, you know, understanding. Because, you know, in my experience, and even in spiritual, you know, I have experience with a lot of demons too, and even incubus. You know, incubus, you know, they transform to a beautiful, beautiful creature, but in the like physical, they're like ugly creature, like ugly. But really, in their dream, they transform to this gorgeous, gorgeous being. You know, it even tells you. Remember, the word says, you know, the devil changed. You know, he changes of like of light. You know, he dresses of an angel of light. I mean, it's the same thing with his friends. It's the same way. That's what they do. They lie. You know, there's nothing pretty. He's like the only one. But since he was cherub, you know, he's like this creature in one. But he like more changes his human form and stuff like that. But you know, it's like the Bible is so mysterious that when it talks about the living creature, you know, you think about it, you're like, okay, living creatures. Talks about like an ox, and you see like a bird there. It's like different. You're like, what the heck? They're like 4 animals in one. Let me see if I got it, because let me see. There was this one time I was reading the Bible, right? And I have read it so many times, but this time the revelation came like as in a actual projection. Like it came to life. Like that came to life. Like I can see the story and everything just came to life. let me see. Yep. It has like a lion, right? I would say like a, right, it's an eagle or something, and it has like a bull. Let's put it like that way, right? But there's like stuck together like in this weird human right here, and then animal the rest. But here's his human, and it has wings, but also since angel not only like just beautiful as, oh wow, no, they are like different creatures, like animal like creatures, you know. So creature has eyes. There's, and the Bible talks about it. Bible talks about angels and stuff, and it talks about the seraphim, and the seraphim, you know, it's not. There's so much mysterious with the seraphim, but you just gotta get into the Bible like more deeply. And the seraphim, it creatures of serpents, because when you look at Moses, right, in the time of Moses, I forget the chapter. I don't know if it's 20s, and I'm gonna have to like look for it in my Spanish Bible thing, right? Because my Bible is Spanish, right? And I had to find it here in English for you guys. And there's a part where you know, he has like a snake, but he has like a stick or something, right? And right that moment on, every like since like and that time people behaving so bad that he was like, God was like, you know what, Moses like, you know, God sent like heavy snakes, and snakes started to biting, and people started to get poisoned, you know, and a lot of serious stuff, like people dying and stuff. And God, like Moses talked to God, and God like repented, and he like, okay, he made the serpent, you know, for people to look at it and they would get cured. But what did God send? So they're like a serpent as devils, but there was also God's serpent. Because when we look at Moses, what did God say? Throw your staff. Oh, that's what it is. Staff. And it turned into a snake. And then also the Egyptian, the Pharaoh also threw his and also made the same thing. But only Moses' staff ate the other snakes, you know? So that means there's a good serpent in God's way as version, right? But there's also bad serpents. So when you think of it clearly, what serpents, what angels are like fire are the seraphim. They're like fire. They're the ones that say the hot ones, you know, because they're the fiery ones, and they're the serpents. They call them serpentine because in Hebrew, it's just, I have it in like somewhere else here. They call them Nash. It's something with an N, but it means serpent. And I had to discover, like I had to go to Hebrew books and I had to go like read it to able to get this revelation, because God showed me a revelation, and it was like in a like a vision. It was a vision, but it was a real life vision as what I'm seeing like right now, like if I'm seeing this book, okay, like as in I'm seeing a movie. And he showed me something. I'm like, oh, I gotta discover this. Like, what is he trying to tell me? And I had to look for the Bible, and I had to look for even Hebrew to be able to understand it, like what he's trying to say. So I understood that, but it was kind of hard at first. But there's some angels that are like serpent kind. That's why the seraphim, they have their face covered like this, because you can't see it, right? You never even hear in the Bible either showing themselves, but you got to get more into it, because you know God sent the seraphim as snakes to bite the people, you know, because they were being bad, and God was like, okay, no, and then he repented and he gave the staff, and every time, you know, the snake staff, every time someone, you know, who was bitten got healed. And that's in the Bible. It's just, I don't have it with me. I think, you know, it's in my Spanish one. I have to search for you guys. I will, like, put it down on the comments or something for you guys to search it for it. They'll be like, oh, this girl's lying. No. It's all written. And, you know, in the story of Moses, of course, right? But, yes. So, and you're like, oh, how? Why? If you look at Egyptian drawings, what do you see? You see snake-like creatures with wings, you know, It's like so mysterious because the beginning of Genesis is more than just a snake. It's not just a snake. Nope. It was more than a snake. That means that snake was a spiritual being, as in not just a regular snake. Why would God like curse the snake and you're going to crawl on your belly if the snake already crawls? Because the snake then didn't crawl. It had wings. It's just so much. You have to dig in so much information, and even like you gotta go by Hebrew too and like search for Greek and like to understand some things, but you gotta think about it. And why, like if we go back to those times, like, you know, spiritually, even Adam could see the spiritual realm. They could see it right there because they had the connection with God, because they didn't sin. But once they sinned, that's when the connection dropped. The connection dropped. You know? And that's why. And the thing is, animals already had communication with Adam. They talked. Why don't you find curious that the snake talked to Eve? Why wasn't Eve? Why was she thinking like, hey, this snake is talking? What? Why was she flipping out? Because it was more than a snake. You know, and the thing is that God cursed the snake, not because the snake. It's because, yes, the devil used the body of the snake to use it, because he knew Adam was intelligent. He was just like God. He wasn't going to get by, but he had to get Eve to deceive. You know, and that's why we're saying that, you know, it's like a double thing, because Eve, look, eyes, lusting, like, let's put it this way, lusting with the apple or whatever fruit it is, sorry, like, stop, whatever fruit it was, and, you know, was like admiring it, you know, so right there, something's happening right now, like, you know, she's like, this looks good, you know, even though God said, don't touch it. You could eat everything, but not this one. Why that one? Because when lust comes through the eyes, as in not just lusting for people, but you can see something that you're not supposed to touch, and you're still wanting and desiring it. That's why when, you know, Lucifer fell, if you think about it, it's not only just pride, it's vanity. Vanity is also a sin. Why? Because let's put it in this simple terms we can understand. He was like, hey, you know what? I'm good looking. I could be like God. I'm gonna be better, man. I'm good. I look good. You know? So that's vanity coming in, but also pride started coming, because he's like, hey, I could be a better person. Like, yeah, I'm gonna sit on this throne. Nope. Once everything started going down and like this chaos and this fight, he realized, damn, I messed up. But right when he messed up, he couldn't go back. You know, because God is a holy God. And that's why, like, you know, God punished those in the beginning of time in Genesis, because, you know, God is a holy God. You know, angels are supposed to be holy and not supposed to let sin, you know, but in ways you understand, like, as in they're seeing us, you know, humans, every single day. They're like, this, and people say, angels don't have generators. If they have generators, how else do they have kids back in the beginning? You know? And they're like, let's say they're like, oh, that's what that body's for. Oh, this is what it's for. Hey, they go to dad. Dad, can I do this? No, you can't do this. But they discovered, oh, if I go to Earth, I can. Also, probably God's like, okay, I want you to continue watching them. And what did they do? Peace out, Dad. I'm not coming back. Because, of course, the word says, angels cannot marry. Yes, in heaven, but on earth you can. On earth you can. So, hello. That's what word says clearly. That's why they left their ex state and they came to earth. And God punished them heavily. And they're going to be the first ones down that fire pit. They're the first ones. Why? Because they did horrible things. They sinned against God. And he is such a saint and a holy God that he did not want like a stain, and that's why demons hate us, and stuff like that, because we're forgiven. Every single thing except if you blaspheme against the Holy Spirit, there's no break for you. And that's why they hate, because it's like, if you're an angel, you're supposed to be pure, you're supposed to be teaching us, and angels, they obey God because, they have no mercy. If you're a witch or whatever thing, like for example, and you do something, attack or something, and and an angel of God or son of God, us, whatever, you guys, and something's going down, and they're you tell them, you give them an order, hey, kill this person, whatever, take off their cord, get it out. They're gonna do it in a heartbeat. They're not gonna regret it, even in the spiritual realm. If God tells them kill this person, I'm so sorry. They're gonna do it. They're not gonna, they obey their father. Okay, they're not gonna, they care about their God, about their dad. That's all they do is obey. So, anyways, I hope you guys learned from this because my phone is about to die. But I hope you guys learned from here. I hope to hear comments from you guys. And so, yeah, I have more things, but at least that's, rap, and stuff. And, I have also, like, drawn different types of demons and stuff and seen, because over my life before coming to Christ, God has given me a relation also being in hell. I have it drawn. I have never shared it because it was just too much. It was too much, but it's a real place. And if you haven't accepted Christ, don't regret it. Don't be like me that waited years till he called me. Don't be that person like I did. If he calls you now, go, obey. He's not gonna be like, it's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy, following, because trust me, persecution is gonna come. I've experienced that firsthand, even with the family, But I want you guys to be opened your mind that everything is real. Also, you gotta be careful what you talk about. If the word says, like, if you get out from this and all that, then don't hang out with the same people, don't. Don't hang out with the same people. So, because God knows, God knows what is good for you. And even though you don't think it, but he does. He does care. He has shown me so many times he cares for me. I love him so much, and I thank him every day for saving me. I don't regret it, like, at all. At all, I don't regret it. His love is so, I want the love every day. And, I love my family and, my brothers and sisters in Christ. I feel so much for the souls nowadays. So much. And I will pray for whatever, and I have to pray for anybody, or put the hands on someone that's sick, I'll do it, but God showed me what love was. When you are truly a Christian, there's no criticism. It's just love. There's no bringing down someone. If someone falls, you help your brother out. If you want to do something good for something, because you help on the poor, the word says, don't be a hypocrite. Don't be showing, things out to people because you want to, like, be proud of men, but keep it a secret, because God, your Father, who sees you in secret, will reward you in public. But, shalom. I'll talk to you some other day.